Welcome to Whole Being Health, Function, Vitality and Mastery. I am of course your host, Warren Williams. So today we're going to talk a little bit about introspection. So you've probably heard the term introspection before, but introspection relates to connecting inwardly to who and what you are. As you know, most people have about 60,000 thoughts every single day. The disconcerting thing about this is that the thoughts we have today are typically the thoughts we had yesterday. In fact, it's about 90% of our thoughts. The bad thing about this is that 95% of the thoughts that we have are typically negative. Negative thoughts create a limiting belief system. As we know, most people today are in what we call negative self-reflection. Now, self-reflection relates to introspection. If you think physically about looking in a mirror, you look at yourself and what's reflected back to you is the truth. So if you were to look in a mirror and you thought you were 7 feet tall or you had a certain size, and you looked in that mirror, what you would see if you were honest and open and introspective, what would be reflected back to you would be the truth. And symbolically, the mirror reflects who we are and what we represent. Representing is being who and what you think you are represented directly in front of you. But when we represent, we are simply representing what we reflect. And what we reflect is a state of abiding. Because to abide means in the state of who and what you are right now. So when you abide, which is the state of now, you are representing who you are based on what you reflect. And what you reflect metaphorically can be positive or negative, depending on what and how you perceive what you see in the mirror. The only person that can be represented by you is you. And this can only happen when you are truly introspective and communicate with who and what you are. This happens through two things: desire and will. Desire is what you want for yourself. Will is what you act on to create the desire or to elicit that desire. So desire is what you want for yourself, but will is how you achieve it, because will is action, and action creates success. So when you have your core values in place and things that you desire for yourself, they will only ever stay at the stage of desire until you act through will to create success. So desire is the fuel and will is the propulsion of that fuel. If you think of it like a car, you can put your petrol in the car, but if you don't ignite the gas through pushing on that pedal, the car doesn't go anywhere. And the journey is the direction that you consciously ignite to travel on. So your desire has to be created through introspection. So you must get quiet enough to be able to connect to what you see in the mirror and connect to what you truly see in the mirror, to be able to know what you desire for yourself. And once you desire for yourself, then you act through will to achieve it. Most people are only at the stage of desire. Desire can be the fantasy, or one day I am going to be this and I am going to be that. But when you understand the law of attraction, you understand that whatever you state as reality is your reality. So when you say one day I will be successful, then you never gain success because it's always in the future. But when you state I am grateful for, and state it as it's happening right now, you are representing the truth of who and what you are right now. But to be clear, to find out what you truly desire, you must become quiet enough through introspection. So how do we do this? How do we become quiet through introspection? The first thing you do, and you may find some of these hard, some of you may already be doing these things, but you start off with practice. You may listen to quiet music. It may be Om. It may be Tibetan chanting. It may be late lounge. It may be instrumental music. But this allows you to fixate your mind on something, because most people can't take their minds away from constant thought. As I said, 60,000 thoughts a day. We are constantly processing information, so it makes it very hard for us to want to be quiet enough to connect to who and what we are, what we represent, and what we need to carry forwards. So that can be the first thing. You start off with listening to quiet music. Now remember, things are frequencies. Every sound, light, color, taste are all frequencies. If I put on heavy metal music or hip hop, that would elicit a high, excitable frequency, which would make your mind move faster. If I put on slow music, it shifts you into a more relaxed, tranquil state. This allows you to be able to communicate with who you are. So that's the first thing. The next thing is just go to the park, or go somewhere where there's pure quiet, such as a beach, or where there's water, oceans, something that allows you to not have to listen to the world around you in its confusing way, such as in built up areas. And just be in the moment and allow yourself to kind of reacquaint yourself with quiet. Moving forward from that, you want to start breathing exercises. Just slow, controlled breathing. But what I suggest for the busy mind is to count your breaths. So once you inhale, always try to do it diaphragmatically by putting one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. Let's see that. The stomach starts to move out. You want to start that first. Once you are able to focus on a good controlled breath, to teach your mind to focus on less things, you count your breaths. So you want to inhale, count in your mind up to 5 to 10 seconds or more. Count the hold time where you hold your breath, and count the exhalation. This trains your mind to focus itself on one thing, so you dissolve all the rapid thoughts that happen. And you may take 5 minutes a day doing this, because it starts to instill discipline to your mind, which helps you to quiet your mind. You can progress this into moving into Tai Chi. The reason why I'd say move to Tai Chi next is it's a natural progression, because your mind is able to communicate and connect to an activity of movement. So again, it means your mind is still focused on a task, but you are achieving silence to connect to introspection. The last stage would be to practice some form of meditation. Now, I will do some videos on active meditations and static meditations at some point. The point here is to learn to communicate with yourself, so you get to the stage of introspection. Another thing about introspection is it means constantly being present and living in the moment right now. There are stages of now. There is now, back then, and now, back or there, going forwards. So when I say that, I mean there or back then is the past. There is the future, but these are two stages of then behind us and then in front of us. But it doesn't matter, because when you are back then in the past, you are in the state of now, live in that moment right now. When you move forward into the future and you are thinking about the future, you are thinking about the future in the present right now. So no matter what you do, you are always trying to bring yourself to the stage of presentness. And when you are in the stage of being present, you are able to live introspectively, because to be introspective means you are communicating with yourself and being authentic with yourself right now. So you represent what you reflect as you see the truth right now. People, what holds us back is our fear. The law of attraction also teaches you that whatever you fear, you manifest. So if you fear poverty, you attract poverty. People that are anxious typically are afraid or fearful of what could possibly happen in the future. Depression has been scientifically clarified as something that people fear in their past, but their past they are living right now. The future of what they fear could possibly happen, they are living right now. So when you are introspective and communicating with you, you are communicating with you right now. So the rainbow bridge or connection to the 2 points of then and now are bridged by you in the present. So you connect your identity of where you think you are going and where you think you will come from right now. You are the antenna that bridges the two gaps, that connects you to being constantly present at every single moment. And the moments that you live are created by your authentic self. And you are authentic when you communicate with what you truly desire to act on as will. We always talk about 4 doctors: diet, quiet, happiness, and movement. Diet is obviously living by eating foods that you feel connect with you. As you know, one man's food is another man's poison. Dr. Quiet allows you to communicate, to hear what you desire and what your body is calling for through diet. Dr. Happy are living your core values, but you cannot live your core values unless you're quiet enough to be able to know what you desire to live to make you happy. And Dr. Movement means that you are authentically connecting to how you should move when you feel tightness and restriction in your body, but it also relates to moving forwards in your life. But what allows and connects these is the ability to be quiet enough, and that again comes through introspection. I always say to my clients, don't be guided, don't be led. Guide and lead. Don't be afraid to stand out and to speak up for yourself, because you are self-empowered. When you speak up and communicate your personal truth, you do not disempower yourself, you empower yourself through self-autonomy, and you are allowing your ego to reflect itself through expression, which is your 5th chakra, expression, communicating with your 3rd chakra, personal power. And when these two link together, that is desire meeting will. Because your desire is your personal power, and your will is the ability to speak, connect, and reflect. Once you reflect and you represent, you are authentic through the stage of introspection communicated outwardly. I hope this makes sense to you guys, and that you are living your life abundantly and never be afraid to be who and what you are every moment, every single day. I'm Warren Williams, and I invite you to embrace change and live in whole, be in health. So I want you to stay vital, functional, and healthy through whole, be in health.